Hey guys, it's Gryph. Nobody asked me to do it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway because Smig did one and I want to do one too to be cool like him. I'm gonna make a garage video, show you guys my cool tanks and my stats, my tech tree. So I'll start off with the first N tier tank I ever got, the Object 704. Also, in the interest of brevity, I'm just going to keep it focused on my N tier tanks because I've got a bunch of tanks. You can see I like to save tanks that I really enjoyed. Although some of them I don't know why I've kept. I'll talk about those a bit maybe. So this is Object 704, my first N tier tank. When I got this, I didn't really know what I was doing with it, so I sort of stuck balls. But I've grown to do pretty well with it. You know, the armor is great around the mantlet. The rest of it's kind of bad, but everyone seems to shoot the mantlet anyway. I mean, fuck me, right? If they want to shoot that, go for it. BL-10's a great gun. It's a little inaccurate, but Russian guns tend to be. You know, 286 penetration is pretty sweet as well. I mean, it's the best non-gold penetration you'll find on any AT gun. Artillery obviously has better AP penetration, but I mean, what the hell? It's artillery. The T-32 is, well, I agree with Smig here. It's the best tier 8 heavy tank, I think, better than the King Tiger. The turret armor is ridiculous. The gun's pretty average. The fire rate's good, though, and the penetration isn't terrible. I mean, it's 198. It's the same gun you get on the T-29. But you can do damage if you know where to hit tanks. I get ridiculous XP in this anyway, so, you know, I can't really complain about it at all. The hull armor is actually the best of any American heavy as well, which is pretty significant. It's 127 at like a near 60-degree angle. I think it's actually 55, so that puts it near 200 effective. And that's it's not bad. It's pretty bouncy, and the turret will bounce pretty much anything. I realize this isn't an N tier tank, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because I love it and it's amazing. Those things go hand in hand, by the way. Alright, it's my first tier 10 tank that I got. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun to play. I used to play a lot more than I do because I've fallen upon the issue of retarded pubs. Dumb teams equal a dead Gryph. I tend to die when I play this thing now. I also die whenever I play with Smig. It's just a problem I have. I'm sorry. I've tried not to, but I can't help. I mean, I really have. I die all the time in these videos. I'm sorry you have to watch that. This tank, it's really squishy. Like, literally when I play this thing, I play it like if I get shot at all, I've lost. And the objective is not to lose. The gun's amazing. It's pretty accurate. Aim time's not bad. Penetration's good. Damage is great. If you hit something that you'll screw up their day. That's how it goes. T95, it's the N tier American tank destroyer for those who don't know, although I'm sure most of you do. I was one of the losers that saved up free XP for this, and I got it the day it came out, so everybody accused me of having no life, which I sort of enjoyed. It's nice to be called a hacker every so often. This tank is fun in pubs, but it's useless in clan wars because how slow it is. The armor is great, the gun is great, but that kind of goes without saying. It's just a better version of what the T30 has, so no complaints there. Armor's nearly impenetrable except for that spot underneath the gun mantlet, the sloping armor down there. Don't shoot that, by the way, if it's me driving it. If it's anyone else, you can shoot it. If it's me, don't. I want to blow you up. What else can I say about this thing? Oh yeah, one of the reasons that it sort of sucks to drive is that you can play an entire battle without seeing a single tank. Because you'll drive to engagement to have every tank already killed there. And I've had some pretty bad games like that before. No fault of my own. Next up, I'm going to talk about the IS-4. Not an N tier tank, but still amazing. This is probably, well, it's my best tank statistically besides the Patton, but I'll get into that in a bit. It's an amazing tank. I don't believe in Soviet bias. The IS-4 is pretty. I think the E-75 is an absolute competitor for it now, but prior to the E-75, I think it was dominant in Tier 9. You know, the S-70 is great at Tier 9. That's the 130mm gun that the I-7 gets, by the way. The armor is ridiculously bouncy, the turret's great, and the gun depression is almost like an American heavy, which is an extremely underrated statistic, in my opinion. Gun depression makes a huge difference in whether or not the tank is worthwhile, in my opinion. It's also not as slow as people say it is. That's something I'm going to put out there. IS-7, again, I agree with Smig. I hate playing this tank in pubs. Like, I'd rather sit in my chair and punch my balls, because that'd be more fun than playing this thing in pubs. It attracts a lot of fire, but it can't shrug it off very well, and yeah, random teams tend to be stupid, and I end up dead a lot, so I don't really like playing it that often. Couple tank destroyers. I'll just talk about them. Su-85 is a fantastic tier 5 tank destroyer. The 107 kills everything. I don't know why I kept this thing, the Su-152. You know, I kind of like it, but it's not as great as it was when I first got it, or at least doesn't feel as good. 122 is a beast, by the way. I don't like using the dirt because the muzzle velocity is super low, which makes it hard to hit it at range. Also, the accuracy is inherently bad with derp guns. I don't like derp guns. I'm gonna skip that. The E100. I recently got this. It's the second latest addition to my garage, actually. This tank is a lot of fun to play. A lot of people complain about it, but people complain especially about this. The armor's good if you play it well. Just get some smart angles up around corners and whatnot, and you'll bounce a lot. The gun isn't terrible. 235 penetration isn't, it's obviously not fantastic for tier 10, but if you're close up, which is where you should be with this tank, you can generally hit weak points and do the massive 750 damage. Well, average damage, it can range anywhere from like 500 to 900 when you penetrate, and that's easier than it sounds. Just don't try engaging things at range, because you'll bounce a lot and it'll be frustrating. What else? By the way, get the Martyr too. This thing's an absolute beast of a tank destroyer. High damage, good accuracy, good penetration, great view range. And the recent addition to my garage, the Patent. Smig's the best patent driver I know, by the way. Don't ever let anyone tell you any different, and don't forget that either. He's amazing. I've learned from him. Still not as good as he is, though, but one day I might be. Then I'll destroy him. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this tank. I love it. I also think he's wrong, though. I think the new turret is awesome. It looks way cooler than the old Pershing did. Just my 2 cents on the issue. It also bounces quite a bit. It doesn't seem like it'd be very bouncy, just based on the listed armor value, but the slope makes it quite bouncy. Seriously, if you're gonna get a medium tank, I'd get this one. I didn't really believe in mediums before I got it. This tank is the most fun I've had playing this game in a long time. And again, not an N tier tank, but it's a bit of an oddity, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. This is the M6A2E1, or the heavy you got for pre-ordering the heavy package of the game. Only nerds did that though, and I am a giant nerd. The tank's pretty good in tier 8. The front armor is like 191 with very few weak points, so if you can face tanks with less than 191 penetration, you'll pretty much be indestructible. Side's horribly weak though. I mean, it's 44mm side armor. So don't let anything hit that and you're golden. Alright, I'll talk about my, I'll show you my... I'll start with Russian tech tree. Got the MS1. I deleted this thing a long time ago, which is the only reason I have the Su-18 researched. I went to the IS-7. Not gonna lie, I skipped a couple of these tanks along the way with 3 XP. And I had a plan to get a T-54 originally, but I got hung up on the T-34-85. I hate that tank. It's kind of slow. The gun isn't very accurate. And, yeah. 704, though, that thing's, that's worthwhile. That was worth a grind to it. I didn't really like the S100 or the ISU, believe it or not. Those were pretty average in my opinion. German tech tree, don't have a whole lot here. I got the E100 recently. That was my first like real German tank. Before that, I had just gotten a Jagdpanzer IV, which I researched, by the way. I don't actually own one. American tech tree. I feel like I'm pretty close to eluding the whole tree. I'm just gonna get the M7 sooner or later. Probably not gonna play it a whole lot, but I like the look of a complete tree. The only problem is artillery. I can't stand artillery. It bores me to death. I don't think that it's fun to just sit in a bush and lob shells at things really far away and then, I don't know, destroy yourself when you miss. I always feel suicidal after playing the priest for more than 3 battles, but I've heard the priest really is really a bad artillery piece though, so probably not a great example. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the American tree when I get the chance to. As for my next tank I'm going to work on, I don't know yet. I might get a T-54 or an E-50. Maybe a mouse just to complete my tier 10 collection. Going to statistics now. I'm sorry this video is long, by the way, guys. I got a lot to talk about here. Overall, 58% victory rate. I think that's decent. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it is because, or not a lot of it, but some of it's because I play in clan wars and clan platoons and companies semi-regularly, so it inflates it a bit. But to be honest, any decent player who's in a competitive clan will have his win ratio inflated by clan wars. That's just the way it goes. Battle survive 42%. I think that's pretty good from playing a mix of tanks. Tank destroyers are pretty easy to survive in because you're generally not on the front line. I've started to play my tank destroyers a bit more like battle destroyers, which isn't too effective, but it's more fun for me. I just can't really sit around anymore. It's a little dull. Maximum destroyed per battle, 11 kills in the Hotchkiss premium tank. I know I've got a couple premiums. I'm sorry, I like this game. I like paying for it. The Hotchkiss is a total beast. I've gotten a couple 11 kill games in this because it's the only tank where I feel like I can take on an entire enemy team and win. So that thing's pretty sweet. Let's see, specifically T30 stats, 70% win ratio here. Again, some of that's because a lot in clan wars. Back when my clan used to field these, they don't really do it anymore, and the E100 has mostly phased them out, unfortunately. I'll probably still be playing this thing when it's a tank destroyer, though. I really, really enjoy the T30. T95, 61% victory, 755 average XP per battle. I'm convinced the only reason my average XP per battle here is below 800 is because you can drive, across a map and never shoot anything because everything's already dead or just got out of your way. IS7, 808. 63% win ratio. A lot of that's from clan wars. I like playing this tank in clan wars, but I do not enjoy playing in pubs. Let's see. I'll go over my patent stats. So I've only played 59 battles with this thing so far, but I have 1,025 average XP, which is pretty good. But I also tend to do really well with tanks the first day I get them, and it kind of slopes off the rest of the time I own it. So I imagine that my patent stats will get remarkably worse as time goes on. Like, expect them to be worse tomorrow. But I'm pretty proud of them so far. I've had a blast with that tank since I got it today. E100 stats, 67% victory rate, 872 average XP per battle. I like this tank a lot. It's fun to play in pubs and in clan wars. Clan wars is probably more fun just because you get a smart team and you get to fire gold rounds. And the heat out of that gun is amazing. No two ways about it. Let's see, I don't remember if I went over my overall stats fully. Yeah, right, so average XP per battle, 705 overall. I'm pretty proud of that. I recently joined the 700 average XP club, which is a club that I dubbed for myself. I joined it with Smig not too long ago, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So hopefully it'll only go up from there. Whenever my stats drop, even it's about like 1%, I get really depressed because I like having good stats. That's just how I work. Medals worth noting. I've got a couple interesting ones, like a Kolbanov's medal. I've got 2 of these, which were awarded to me because I stood alone against 5 or more enemy tanks or self-propelled guns and won. I got one of those in Hotchkiss, one of them in an SU-85. The SU-85 battle is really exciting, actually. I felt pretty baller because I went up against like 7 tanks and I killed all of them. Got 7 mouse traps. I think I just get lucky killing mice. And a Master Tanker medal, which I got for destroying at least one of every type of enemy vehicle currently available in the game. I didn't know I had that, actually. That's pretty sweet. 1 Kamikaze, I don't remember how I got that. And yeah, the rest of these aren't too interesting. There's like Reaper and Sharpshooter and Invincible, which you get for not taking any damage at all. That's in my 704 because that thing's super stealthy. You camp with it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If there's any tank in here that you saw that you'd like me to play and record gameplay of, please let me know in the comments. I'll do what I can. If I suck with it or I don't like that tank, I'll probably give it less of a try than I would if I like that tank. But I'll do what I can for you guys, so let me know. Thanks.